anyone can really take a pack and ship store and start to do the amount of scalable business that you want to do or need to do as you see that kind of demand in your market and your new clients. Then we're going to go into 3PL industry at large. We're going to talk what e-commerce fulfillment is. We're going to talk the tech stack and systems that you want to put in place, how to do it the cheapest way possible that'll give you the most versatility. We're going to talk about pricing, how to get leads. It's the most important thing. You can know how to do it all day, but if you don't know how to get new customers into your stores, you know, you're just SOL. So we're going to talk about risks and lessons learned through my process, what to look out for, and also talk to you guys about some good niches for different businesses. So how many people here went to the train up or are the boot camps? How many people have had their store for more than 5 years? And then 10 years? All right, so that's about where I fall in as well. 20 plus years? Awesome. So the biggest risk that I saw when presenting this class, or the friction I'd have to get over, is that if you're new, you're feeling that you still have too many different services in place already and you're still trying to get a hold of them. But once you master your packing, shipping, mailboxes, you're ready for fulfillment services. And this is really a good profit center for the future.
Ryan,
So,
really quick,
yeah.
you know if they're going to release all the slide decks from all these breakouts?
I do not know that. You can email me, give me your business card, hit me up on the Whoosy. I'm really jumping into that thing.
Okay.
And then I'm going to push out all this stuff for people. So if you want a copy of this, you'll get it. If you're experienced and then, hey, what I've done has worked so far, no need to reinvent the wheel, but it's really here just to embrace new business opportunities. So definitions, what's 3PL? It's third-party logistics. That's what the big industry calls it. Fulfillment, people also call it pick, pack, SKU. When I say SKU, I mean a stock keeping unit. And when you're dealing with your e-commerce clients or other businesses, if they're selling mittens, and their mittens come in 3 different sizes and 5 different colors, that's 15 different SKUs. And you need a price for that and acknowledge that and have that conversation with them accordingly. DTC, direct to consumer or direct to customer. Business to business, B2B. Drop shipping, that's when a company is paying someone else to manufacture their stuff and shipping it to other clients as if it's their own store. It's huge out there. So white label, private labeling. So when you go to Walmart and you see the Great Value Honey Oats, or you go to Wegmans and you see the Wegman brand Honey Loops, it's made by the same company. They're just slapping a different packaging or a different brand on it, and that's something that you guys can capitalize on and specialize in, and then resell that service. Omnichannel, Satish mentioned it, but it's just a yuppie buzzword for doing more than one thing at a time. Sales channel and shopping cart, that's where orders are being captured online. And that's where your DTC orders are being captured and what you need to integrate with. And we'll go over a couple different ways of how to do that with your fulfillment software or manual processes. And then Amazon, there's different kind of sales channels, omni-channel. You're going to be looking at people who want to do FBA prep, which means fulfillment by Amazon. That's taking their product and making it receivable to an Amazon store. Amazon will do that for some sellers. There's a huge price there. And then it's much cheaper to just outsource it, and you can be the person getting that outsourcing business. So fulfillment by merchant, it used to be called the Manufacturer Fulfillment Network or Merchant Fulfilled Network, and it's where you're still selling on Amazon. You don't get the shiny Prime badge, but basically the sales captured in Amazon, it's sent to the shopping cart, and then you're fulfilling those orders direct to those consumers. And then Seller Fulfilled Prime, the barriers to entry in that is just too high, so if people are asking you for that, just ignore them, and Amazon isn't even taking on new customers for their Seller Fulfilled Prime market. So, timeline here, just the stuff up top since we're a little pressed on time. I purchased my mail center in 2014 when I was stationed in Fort Carson, Colorado as a first lieutenant. I dabbled in some other profit centers, and then around 2016, I got my first 2 big clients. One of those clients, e-commerce stores, actually took off. Had a purchase order for Urban Outfitters for $225,000, and they earmarked $88,000 for logistics services, and that check came to me. And I knew that anything that I could save from that $88,000 that they had earmarked was going to be my profit to keep. I started expanding out our space from a back room in the store to a garage space in my former business partner's girlfriend's house. The city wasn't too happy about that, so then we got our first proper space, and I'll say proper because I paid $450 a month for 750 square feet of really ugly real estate, but it worked. We made it work. And then when Fahim visited me in Colorado in 2017, we moved into our first better space at 1,200 square feet. Right now we're operating out of a warehouse that has 3,500 square feet and trying to buy our own. From there, just pictures are worth 1,000 words.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for paying your taxes. You deserve it. Come on. All right. So here we are. Oh, that's not displaying. All right, so this is what my store first looked like in 2014. My business partner, were Yves Melanson, who started his store in 1981, started out. Any of the old timers remember Yves? So Yves is a great guy, and he helped us out a lot when we were starting off, but he rode off into the sunset of retirement after I bought the store in 2014. So he had two spaces side by side, and this is going to be important later when I talk about the struggles and friction. It wasn't a terribly attractive space, but then also it had two storefronts side by side, and I saved about 16 grand a year being able to invest it into other profit centers by splitting it down, rebranding it into just a much smaller space. So in this smaller space, my business partner worked the day-to-day operations Monday through Friday. I worked on Saturday, and then during the week at my Army day job as a helicopter pilot, was always thinking, trying to generate new profit centers. And on such a day, someone from an electronic EDM hula hoop company that were real popular in festival and rave circles came in and dropped off 50 packages. And I know I wasn't getting any money from this, and I wanted to find some kind of angle in order to make money off of this. And so we started talking. I was looking at her shipping rates, a little chagrined that year in 2015 when I came to the RS Expo and asked them, how are e-commerce businesses getting the same postage rates or even better than what I'm getting through a stamps.com account? But I was asking the wrong question. It's not making money on the postage like your retail shipping. It's making money on outsourcing the services that your e-commerce businesses don't want to do. People don't get into business to pack boxes and find margins on shipping and do bubble wrap. They get into business because they have a brand, they have a mission, they have a product. They see an episode of Shark Tank, and that's what they want to capitalize on. So you're doing the stuff they don't want to do, and you're charging them for it. So it started out with me just charging 50 cents a label, and I would print it for her so she didn't have to do. Orders would come in about 200 a week. She'd send me an Excel file, and this is where I'm talking about how you can scale and decide what level of work share you want to do with your e-commerce clients. So come in, 200 orders, I'd rip through them in the evening. I found that I could do maybe 120 or a label every 30 seconds on Postalmate with just some cheats and clicking back and forth. And at 200 bucks or at $100 for 2 hours of work, this wasn't the profit center that I was going to save my business, or if the mailbox rental or shipping profits declined. So what really started us making money was when we got more of the work share, more of the process. And that was in packing the boxes, storing it, receiving it, and then assembling the product, which was a niche water bottle, a high-end water bottle. And that's where we actually started making money. So again, we closed down our store to half the amount of space, started running out of space, so I started sticking things in the ceiling on these little up and down elevators. I'm sure OSHA would have different opinions of this, but we made it work. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you need to find a way to get space, you can order a shipping container nowadays for $200 a month. And if your landlord's cool, they'll let you drop a couple shipping containers in the back parking lot. If they're not cool, find some ugly real estate on Craigslist. If you're searching for real estate on LoopNet, those are all the properties that are already passed over. So if you need ugly space, go to Craigslist, find some back room, find your girlfriend's or your business partner's girlfriend's garage, pay her $200 a month to use her space. So find the auto body next door and ask them if you could build pallets in their shop when it's snowing. So this represented about 500 orders, and I was shipping about one of these a month, or one of these a week, out to Urban Outfitters when that purchase order came in. So a pretty boxed up Gaylord box on top of a pallet, heading to Urban Outfitters among all of the grease. And so then Urban Outfitters got a little bit more difficult with us, and they wanted them in minimum orders of 1,000 at a time. And so we started pre-positioning and packaging all these things per their instructions, and then shipping them out for residential delivery with a lift gate out of the garage. Here's where all the magic happened. It's doable. It's doable until the HOA gets involved. Then we started shipping containers from China. So this represents 6,000 new bottles coming in that need to be combined with another 6,000 of other components coming in from India. And we rented a storage unit, offloaded it at the storage unit. We would have one storage unit for the new material coming in, and then one for the stuff going out. And then once you're at this kind of scale, or if you know your throughputs enough that can afford $240 investment a month, that's not that bad when you're hoping to get like maybe $17,000, $20,000 from a purchase order. And these are all just kind of scalable steps. We bring them back to the garage, 2 6-foot long shipping tables in order to pack and prep that stuff. And then here's another shot of our shipping containers with the stuff waiting to be packed up. Then we got our next ugly space. And if you could see these ugly spaces as a part of your store or in an annex near you or something you find, like fulfillment services can be done, and you can make that decision when it makes financial sense. Don't jump into new space or take on extra overhead before you have the business to do so. Our water bottles, packaging, and at this point we started getting some other e-commerce clients, so I felt better about expanding and kind of taking another step into another space. So our next space, ugly building, we rented out 1,200 square feet. In the bottom of it, it had a roll-up garage door, which was a huge plus for us. We rented a Penske truck and started filling it out. We started feeling pretty good when we started getting some packages for other clients in here. And the space started out pretty empty with just a computer desk, a scale, and a workstation. And if you find a client with a small widget that they're trying to sell online, you can see yourself in this $100.50 wall unit from Home Depot with all the material that you already have doing fulfillment services. And this represented maybe for my non-water bottle client, probably 200 to 400 orders a week. So it was manageable with about 3 hours of an employee's time going down there to do it. Space started to fill up, started to get more clients. The more we serviced our clients who were getting products manufactured, and then those manufacturers take notice of, hey, when I have someone who wants to buy $10,000 worth of wholesale products, and they're meeting great deliverables and have happy e-commerce clients, and they're able to focus on their e-commerce clients and drive more sales, the manufacturers get more reorders. And when they get more reorders, they want to send their new clients to the people who ensured the logistics went all right. So that's where your value add is offloading that, getting in good with the second level manufacturers, and then getting that referral business. This is near move out day. We filled out that $1,200 square feet. Really started being filled to the brim. It was an educated time to move out. We moved out on Valentine's Day weekend in 2018, which my wife will always remind me of. And here's a picture of me actually doing manual labor for record. And we moved right into our new space. We moved in with 24 pallets of people's products. And I thought we were doing pretty good. What I was happy about was that the storage matched the lease. So I knew that everything on top of that, from doing some math, that I would be all right as long as I still had the storage and the product in-house and customers paid their invoices on time. We set to work fulfilling, got a client for hair loss shampoo, a client for little plastic inject mold widgets that helped you ride your bicycle better, stuff that helped you load bullets into gun magazines quicker, that was easier on your thumbs. Clients that developed a chicken nipple, a thing that you put into a water barrel that delivered the perfect amount of water for a little chicken tongue to peck at. There are so many businesses out there, and there are business owners solving all sorts of problems, and it's fun being part of their solution and seeing what's out there. So when you get into 3PL services for e-commerce clients, you get exposed to a lot more businesses, and the wheels start turning for a lot of other ideas, and you find a new pain point that your customer has and you solve it. They're with you. Once you get them, it's a big emotional event for them to ever want to leave. So some packing tables and boxes, started filling it up for the day.
So how does it work? They sign up with Third Party Logistics and you sign up and Third Party Logistics basically pairs the two of you together, or what?
Third Party Logistics is an industry in and of itself, and I'm an independent third party logistics provider specializing in e-commerce fulfillment. So find some businesses that have small stuff, especially starting out. Jewelry is a wonderful product because one, usually the cost is high, so your customers are less sensitive to the fulfillment fees that you're going to charge them, and it doesn't take up a lot of space, especially when you're dealing out of a small area. High density storage for variable SKUs. This is why a lot of big clients, a lot of the big other guys out there don't want to deal with these small parts, because you have a high SKU variable to a low sale volume. Some of my e-commerce clients wouldn't even get a call back from other fulfillment services. Because I was the person picking up the phone and talking to them was the reason why I got their business. So one ring that comes in 8 different sizes, that's 8 different SKUs. And really this only takes up a little bit of real estate in my warehouse. So filled up this warehouse, and right now we're hoping that to have a new warehouse space shortly. So once you have all your stuff stored, you're going to want to store in backstock on pallets, and then you're going to want to store at pick and pack locations. And starting out, if you're just picking and packing off of pallets, that's fine. You just need to grow with that, and we'll talk some other ways to leverage your small scale starting out.
So basically, I have clients that are eBay sellers. I go to their warehouse, I pick their stuff, I package it, I send it out. That's the same thing as what you're talking about?
Sort of. Let me see if the rest of this doesn't answer those questions. So that's the timeline of events where we started from Fulfillment COS, Colorado Springs, by the mail center, and then we started actually branding ourselves as Fulfillment Co. So in the US industry, it's worth about $231 billion before the pandemic, and it's almost $300 billion projected for next year, which is a 10-year growth, or in 10 years, they've doubled their growth. It's not just Amazon. There are companies out there called ShipBob, FlowSpace, Stored. These are major players in the 3PL fulfillment industry, and you don't need to beat them. You don't need to meet their same delivery times. You just need a little piece of the pie. And it's very profitable. So Mark Cuban from Shark Tank even opened up his own fulfillment center here in Texas called Celery. UPS and FedEx have their own 3PL programs for larger clients. They'll notice someone is doing a whole bunch of shipment, and then they'll reach out to them and say, hey, do you want to outsource your fulfillment services? They're getting the big guys. You don't need the big guys. You can take the startups and make a good profit off of it and charge a premium for it. So the basic services of third-party logistics: receive, store, pick, pack, ship, repeat. You're already doing those services. You're already receiving packages, you can receive a pallet. You're already storing stuff, packages for your clients, you can store a whole bunch of rings. You're already packing boxes, you can read an order, pick something off the shelf, put it in a box, do that 200 times a day, and charge $2 for that service, or more if it's more complicated, and make good money off of it. And then ship it off. You can put some margin on your postage if you really want to. Receiving. Let's dive into these 4 basic services. How's the product arriving? Is the client sending it to you? Is the client's supplier sending it to you? Ask them, what are they paying for freight? If you win 1 or 2 times with a freight quote, they're just going to offload that service to you. So accept a low margin starting out, of maybe just $100 on your freight, and then you can bump that up a little bit over time for the added value of them not having to shop around and email 10 different freight brokers. Get the packing list up front. Your e-commerce client may think they're getting 1,000 orders on 5 different SKUs, and then 500 orders of items of each thing. But that might not be what the manufacturer sends them. So get the manufacturer to tell you what's coming in a packing list, and then verify it for them. And there's different ways you can charge for receiving fees. The big guys, they're gonna charge a pallet fee. They're gonna charge a box fee for each box they have to open. They're gonna charge for each different SKU that's on that box that they have to inventory. And then they're gonna charge an item fee. Don't make it hard for your customer to get their stuff in your store. You're small, they're starting out, they don't want overhead fees. This is a new venture for them, it's scary. Let them get their product to you. So don't charge them $360 just to get their stuff to you. Charge them $20, $100. Avoid an hourly rate, because that's just really not a great selling point, because people don't trust an hourly rate. Storage, next step. Are you storing it inside? Are you storing it outside? Did you just drop a shipping container in the back and you're gonna restock your little shelves inside your store as needed? So it's like a push-pull logistics model. Is it climate controlled? If you have a client that says I need to keep this under X temperatures, usually you're setting it at a balmy like 69 to 71. Tell them, yeah, we have climate control. If they need it cooler, just build a box around it, stick an AC unit in it, plug that AC unit in, and now you have cool services that you can charge a huge premium on. Bin fees. Another way that big box fulfillment providers charge for storage is by the bin, and it's crippling to smaller businesses that have a large amount of SKUs. They'll charge anything from 2 cents a day up to I've seen $1 a day per bin, just to keep it in a segregated bin from them to pick from. And if you're a jewelry business starting off with just 1,000 units, but you have 200 SKUs, you don't want to pay another $200 in overhead. But it's really starting out for you, it's not going to be that difficult for you to make a margin or to pay attention to that one client. So I'd say avoid bin fees. And then storage. Or insurance. You can't insure what you don't own. Insurance. You can't insure what you don't own. Your client needs to get the insurance. That's the biggest sticking point that we have with new clients, and the biggest problem for us in being able to insure our business operation. So your client, help them, connect them to an insurance broker, and you'll solve a huge problem for them. Fulfillment and pick pack. We're gonna dive even more into fulfillment, because this is where you're gonna make your money. You want a client that has inventory that moves. So make money on where it moves and integrate directly with their sales channel. So Amazon, eBay, Shopify, WooCommerce, Magento. These are all different kinds of sale platforms that's on the back end or the shopping cart of the store. So when you go online and you buy something directly from a website, or if you go on Amazon and you buy something from them, there's a back software that's capturing those orders. And you need a fulfillment software that will be able to integrate with it, and I'm gonna go over that one. Or you can just log directly into their sales channel. They're already trusting you with all their operations and all their inventory. For some reason, usernames and passwords they don't like to give up. But you only need to log in once if you integrate it with software, but if they're already trusting you with all the other parts of their business, they should be able to trust you with their login password for their online store. So you can log directly into their Shopify or WooCommerce and fulfill their orders out of there. Shipping, where is the postage coming from? Starting out, you might want to tag on a 10% margin and enjoy those profits, but they can look at the same shipping charts that you look at, and they can look at Pirate Ship, Stamps.com, Shippo, and they're gonna challenge you on that. I would say if it's coming from you, put a 3 to 5% margin on it and explain that this is to cover the cost of your merchant processing fees. Because if you just give postage away for free, you're gonna lose 3% on every single transaction. You can integrate with different software, your UPS and FedEx accounts directly, so that when you have 5 businesses all using your bucket for fulfillment software, then you can associate different shipping accounts with those different stores. So the software knows when Patty's Mittens comes in for an order to be fulfilled, it knows that it's associated with this shipping account. with this stamps.com account that's charged and maintained by the client. The client signs up for a $17 a month stamps.com account. They're in charge of paying for it, and when they don't pay their bill, their account's the one that gets shut down, not yours. And then if you're already getting them better rates on carrier, because most parcels under like 1 pound, it's gonna go USPS first class postage. That's just the best that's out there. And there's no money to be made on it really. So just make sure that the clients are paying for it, but if they're selling bigger stuff or want it there faster, then charge a little margin on that postage and be upfront about it. Fulfillment, how do you charge for your fulfillment fees? There's different ways, different companies do it, and it's hard to shop and compare. I've built enough calculators over the last 7 years that I can very quickly do it, but some people, starting off, they're gonna do $1.50 for every item. And we're gonna use an example of an e-commerce store where someone bought 2 SKU A's, 2 SKU B's, and 1 SKU C. So this is the order that we're evaluating these different pricing on. Single rate, $1.50 for everything that goes in the box. Might work out for a client that just has one widget that's their best seller, but if they have multiple different things, they're gonna wanna see some kind of a price discount. $2.50, bad math, $2.50 per order for everything that goes into the box, and you can cap that. Like, hey, after 10 things in one box, you're gonna have to pay another $2.50. But your business wants easy numbers to be able to calculate out their COGS, their cost of goods sold. Here's the next level of more sophisticated pricing. I call it single SKU, first SKU, or single SKU, first SKU, multi-SKU rates. And you charge, for this example, $2.25 for the first item that goes into the box, whether it's 1, whether it's 10. First item, the extra services that require for putting just one thing in a box, the shipping label, the packing, $2.25. Then you give them a price break for the multi-SKUs and the subsequent items that go in there. And then expand it out. SKU A, first SKU that went in, $2.25. Second one, 85 cents. SKU B, 85 cents, 85 cents. Your 1 SKU C, 85 cents, $5.65. At the more sophisticated level, which I don't recommend doing starting off, you can do unique item-based pricing. And that's what a lot of the big fulfillment services do. And this actually turns off a lot of little guys because it's confusing to be able to calculate. So you have your $2.25 plus 25 cents, but because you're having to pick from a different SKU or a different bin in that big fulfillment warehouse, they're gonna charge $1 for that next SKU and then 25 cents for the next item. And then for SKU C, there's only one of them, so they get charged $1. So this is actually a little bit of a lower revenue pricing model. It doesn't give you as much cushion to work with. I recommend starting off with a single SKU, multi-SKU based pricing, and it's easier to invoice. Invoicing is gonna get complicated. If you have a client that's already shipping, ask for their fulfillment reports and then apply your pricing to them. People love to know what they're getting into. So this is a client that I priced this week. In 1 week, they had 551 orders, so I knew that. And it's not gonna look this pretty. This is what I do and slap it into. So I knew that they had $34,000 in sales. So they qualified for a tier rate of $1.9965, single SKU, multi-SKU. This is how it's applied. So let's look at this order for Louis Richetti. And they ordered 3 of this first SKU and then 1 of these 3 SKUs. So I would charge them $1.99 and then 65 cents for the subsequent items. And it's gonna earn me $5.24, but express it to your customer in terms of sales price. That's what they're looking at. They wanna know what percentage of sales do I have to give up in order to outsource my fulfillment. And so that's about, for that week, it would have averaged out $3.31 for that person's particular profile of stuff. So then you want to know if this customer is profitable. And you don't have to do it fancy like this. You can do it on a napkin and realize you can make money. So take the average fulfillment price here, decide what you pay your employee, do a little art, do a little science, and figure out at 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute, 4 minute, 5 minutes worth of your time of how much you think it's gonna cost or how much time it's gonna take to package your orders. And then you can determine how much money you're gonna make off them. So if it takes me 2 minutes to pack each of these orders on average, a week, if I had this client, would be $1,100 a week in profit over labor. It would be $4,890 a month for just this one client. Yes? This is graduate level work. You don't need to do it. Start now.
When you say fulfill an order in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Is some Martian putting a box in front of you? Or are you going and finding a box, taping it up, going and finding these items, putting them in there, creating a label, and all that within 45
I
seconds?
think we're
Yeah.
unclear how that happens.
So we'll get into that, and you'll see as you scale, those numbers go down. But if you have employees that have time to lean and are not cleaning, then you have just revenue that could be gained out of that employee's time. So when you have when you do 200 orders at once, or you can work it out with your client saying like, hey, I can give you a better rate if you want to ship all your orders out on Fridays. So Friday is your fulfillment day. You come in at 7 a.m. at the owner, you print your shipping labels for the day, and then you have that stack of labels, and you have your employees or yourself, you have your shopping list, you go and you pick the stuff, you bring your stuff to your table, you lay it all out, you lay out the boxes because you know all the boxes that they're gonna do ahead of time, and then you box it out. You will hit those metrics when you have at least 100, 200 orders that you're doing at the same time. And if it's more than that and you're not doing it that fast, charge more. I charge some people starting off $5.60 because they have just a very complicated thing. And then when I was starting off this water bottle company, they were just I was charging them $3.45 to assemble the bottle and $3.75 in order to fulfill it. And we did 5,400 units of them in a 3-month time span. So here's an example of some of the technology and systems that you can use. So this is an Amazon model. So you have a seller, he's selling stuff on Amazon. The order comes into Amazon here, and then the product is coming from their manufacturer into your warehouse and you're storing it. Then you're logging into their Amazon Seller Central, and you're getting it'll give you a recipe of what Amazon wants you to prep that for, and then you're sending it to the Amazon warehouse, and Amazon's actually shipping it out. So it's stored at Amazon, waiting for customers to order, and they deal with all that. FBM, which is closer to the DTC, direct-to-consumer models, is you're getting your inventory from the source, you're storing it, you're waiting for the orders in Amazon to come through. Once those orders come through, you're notified, and you ship it out to that customer. So you charge a premium for this. For prep work, you charge maybe 60 cents to $1, and you're gonna get 300, 400 things arrive to you at a time. And when you're doing it at that level, which stores are doing, there's plenty of Amazon sellers out there, and Amazon doesn't really want to deal with sellers unless they're doing at least 100 orders that are going to their warehouse. Here's an example. This client had a whole bunch of wildflower seeds, 100 different variety of wildflower seeds. He wants to sell them in specially bundled packages. So you have the acacia blend, you have the lavender blend, you have whatever. We're taking a pack of 100 and creating packs of 10, and we're prepping for that. And we're charging them maybe $1.25 for each one, and we're putting a whole bunch out to Amazon every single month or so. Vitamins in the nutraceutical market, whatever snake oil people are selling these days, people are buying it like crazy. But in order to get into the Amazon warehouse, it needs to be prepped. So it usually involves taking your widget, bundling it 1 or 2, putting it into a poly bag and slapping a special label on it, and then shipping that out the door to Amazon. As you start to have a space, I started off with just 2 6-foot folding tables. There's an amazing amount of efficiency that you will see those kind of metrics from your employees' labor. All right, so here's direct-to-consumer model. So you have your source, your customer is ordering stuff from a source, they're sending it to you, you are warehousing it, and then when the customer places an order on their website, you are shipping it out to those customers. The software to do so, as an example of a sales channel, you have Shopify. It's one of the most popular brands out there. The best software for starting out, which is like $75 a month just to start out, is ShipStation. And it'll support up to 1,000 orders a month. Then after 1,000 up to 10,000 orders, it's $99 a month. So if you have someone who reaches that threshold for only an extra $23, you get another 4,000 orders that you can support out of that software. ShipStation owns Stamps.com. Stamps.com integrates automatically and makes sure that all your clients set up in their different postage accounts. And when the order comes in from Patty's Mittens, ShipStation knows to charge this account. And then Stamps.com will debit it down $200 once they're done, and then the customer's in charge of reselling it. And if you can't fulfill the order and print that shipping label, then they just stop for the month until they fix their account. So it doesn't put you at risk. And then that tracking number is automatically sent back to the customer, and the rest of the process is kind of done automatically. Here's where you start to get a little more complicated. So here you have several different brands on different sales channels: Shopify, eBay, Squarespace, Wix. Whatever the actual person selling wants to ship out is what they're using. It's going into your fulfillment bucket. I'm actually a little tight on time, so I'm gonna keep this moving. But it can scale, is the point of this. So avoid project creep. Once you do something for someone one time, you've kind of set a new standard. Don't rely on just one customer, because when you lose that customer, it's gonna really hurt. So if you take on an extra expense, if they need some kind of special labeling, work with the client and say, hey, I'll buy this thing for you, but you're gonna pay me back for it $200 off of every single invoice until X date. Or the reverse, you say, you buy the machine and I'll discount you $200 every single month until it's paid for, and then I own it. And then it's a service you can sell to everyone else. Where can you find clients? Second level referrals, as I mentioned: manufacturers, sellers, co-packers, apiaries. Who knows what an apiary is? Beekeeper. You got someone who's shipping out a whole bunch of special honey. They don't want to deal with the packing and shipping side of it. There are all sorts of industries like that. During the pandemic, a lot of different in-store businesses shifted to online sales, and now that actual physical shopping is back in action, they don't want to give up that profit center, but they don't want to do that anymore. So help that restaurant that's now bottling their secret sauce and shipping it out every single month, help them to continue doing that revenue, but you make money off of it. Go to a local sellers group, join Meetup, meetup.com, and then look for a meetup, and then just go there and tell them that you're also interested in selling online because you have a 3PL business that you're trying to leverage. And all the sellers are like, oh my God, you do 3PL? And you're local? It's great. They're gonna come to you. Put it on your website and leave it there. If you want to do your separate website, still advertise it on your other package ship store one. Drop off some mailbox customers. Talk to your clients who are dropping off a couple hundred orders a week. Ask them what their pain point is, what their problems are. Do a set of incremental work share. Maybe it starts off with you just printing their labels for them. But over time, you're gonna get the rest of their business, and they're gonna love you for it. Selling your small scale. Do you have a geographical advantage? You probably do. You just need to advertise it. Are you on the East Coast and someone's specializing in the East Coast? Then you have a market there. If you're on the West Coast and they're specializing in West Coast markets, you have an advantage there. If you're in the middle of the country, then you have an evenly balanced distribution to both coast to coast. No matter what it is, you have an advantage. Again, we talk incremental work share where the customer can still maintain that level of control. Them giving up their baby and leaving the garage for the first time, it's big and scary. But if they know that you're the friendly pack and ship store down the street, and if they ever needed to bring that services back in, then they're gonna be a lot more, they're gonna wanna do that more. And then proximity to manufacturers. Find those manufacturers and industries that are local to your business, your apiaries, your fast plastic parts, injection molding, your CBD labs, and then sell that to their clients. Ask that vendor, hey, do you have anyone who's struggling with their fulfillment, and can you put them in contact with me? They might. Accessibility. So you're accessible, and that's a selling point. But don't overextend yourself. You know, it's great that you have this kind of quality control and they can come to complain to you, but that's also a double-edged sword. But where else could a client just walk in to a fulfillment center and want to talk to the president? Because it's not happening at Mark Cuban's celery fulfillment center. Special niches to get into: jewelry, pros, small SKU, high margins. They're going to be less price conscious. Cons: high SKU variability, a bunch of extra steps. Charge for it. I charged $425 starting off for jewelry because I had to take a ring, store a whole bunch of it, put it into a little clamshell, close it, and ship it off. Subscription boxes. Charge a premium and you only work 1 day a month. So if they have a subscription box that's going out 1 day a month, you will hit excellent margins on your subscription box customers because they'll just throughput so quickly once you have everything kind of spread out on a table and are fulfilling it. Or you're using your employees' downtime to fill the day. If you have employees that are not doing anything all the time, they have time to fulfill orders. Just give them 10 orders. Hey, before noon, fulfill these 10 orders. And then you have an extra $100 that they did with 15 minutes every other hour for the last 3 hours, and you've just made more revenue on their labor. Did they do it as fast as being able to do it in a dedicated manner? No, but you still got more revenue. Self-published authors, super easy, simple product to fulfill. Everyone thinks they're the next Stephen King, and then they're just staring at a sad bunch of pallets in their garage that aren't selling. So sometimes they're studs, sometimes they're duds, and you just have to balance that, but it's a great, super easy product to do. So I was kind of down and dirty, and I wanted to get through that as possible because I know there's some questions. So what are your questions? So,
How do you do this and still run a store? I mean, it seems like, and you're dedicated, your employees have to go to this warehouse to work. You can't, I mean, you have to be really small or do it in your store that most people don't have much space in, but.
I did it as soon as I had the orders for it. As soon as that client had the orders that supported it, that's when I moved to hire employees, contractors, and make them actual employees to do the work. They'd come in for 2 hours, do the work, and leave. And then once I knew I had enough square footage of storage in order to cover the rent in a new warehouse space, that's when I decided to get a new warehouse space. So it's an incremental part.
When you have the multiple locations, do you have multiple pickups from the carriers or bring it all into one for pickup time? Have it all picked up?
Carriers are just scheduled to come when they come at my new space. When I was out of my package ship store, they were doing 3 p.m. pickup, so I fulfill all orders same day that arrive by 1 p.m. But I start at 7 a.m. To get those done, and then they're all ready for the carrier when they pick up at 3 p.m. FedEx, UPS, USPS. Sir?
I'm sure you have. Have you compared yourself with like the Amazon fulfillment? Can you market yourself cheaper or?
Yeah. But the thing with Amazon is they take like 17 to 25% off the sales price, and they charge you for fulfillment.
Yes, they do.
So selling on their own website is great, but when you sell on your own website, and if you don't use Amazon FBA, you don't get that shiny Prime badge that people like and are not eligible for 2-day shipping. You are eligible for the shipping that Amazon seller has set up through their third-party warehouse. So it's a trade-off, but people starting off will do it, and then they like driving sales to their actual website and not having to pay Amazon $17 off the top line. Yes.
So your fulfillment, what you charge them for fulfillment, that covers your cost for boxes and packing materials?
Separate charges.
Oh,
Packing materials is separate. You tell your customers I can order in bulk. I just charge a 10% margin on all packaging, and that's after shipping comes in. So I'm not making big money off of packaging. I'm making money off of fulfillment. And big brands like ShipBob and Red Stag, they only use 4 boxes. And yeah, from an operational standpoint, I bet that makes sense. But when a customer has a tiny little thing and they're paying $8 in postage when all they really needed was paying $4.25 for USPS first class mail, they're going to come and complain to the fulfillment center. They're not going to care, and that's when they're going to start shopping around.
So you mean all those numbers that you had, 475 and 525 for your fulfillment of SKU A, B, and C, that is not including your cost of materials?
No. And the
So you
customer
would
pays
add
for
that
postage.
to it?
Yep. So most of my invoices have 4 to 5 line items, just to keep it simple, which customers also love. Just a simple thing that they can understand. Storage, $40 a pallet. So, and whether that pallet is stacked 2 things high or 55 inches that'll fit into my pallet racks, that's what they pay. And that's actually a premium for most 3PLs. They have lower per cubic rates, but you're a premium service.
Is that per month or per week?
Per month. Yeah. And I charge $10 per shelf. My shelf is 6 feet long, 2 feet deep, and that's where you pre-position your items for your quicker picking and packing. So you have your pallets, which you can pick and pack off of. And if you only have one client that has 2 pallets, you get an extra $40 a month. Maybe they're selling 400 or 500 things for easy math, and you're charging them $3, and so you're making an extra $1,500 a month for doing the labor in your employee's downtime. Or you're just hiring a contractor that comes in for 2 hours a day to do that. Yes,
So,
You're next.
an average package that you're shipping, say that's $5.65 is
Yeah.
what you're making on that single SKU.
yeah.
What is the actual average cost that customer is paying overall? Storage, packaging, what are they paying?
So if I had more of this sheet, I could have brought that out for you. But price that out for them. So say like, hey, if they're an established business, that's the best. You know what they're selling. You know probably how long it's gonna take them to do. If they're doing their sales in-house, and they have an overhead and their own employees and their own headaches that they wanna outsource. To answer your question more succinctly, they could tell me in terms of pallets how much their storage is, and then I could tell them that I'm gonna match or do better than their packaging, because you probably will do better than their packaging. But if not, they just have to accept that. And then for the paying per order and not having to have $2,000, $4,000 a month in storage, you know, when you do the math and sit down with each one of your clients, you get better at explaining it to them. Yes.
The other thing you can do is printing, like, so a lot of times they want to put cards and things like that in
Inserts,
there.
yeah.
So we charge them by the insert, but then we give them a discount if they print it in our shop versus
Mhm.
they bring it in somewhere else, and then you're storing it if they get it somewhere, you know, so.
Yep.
All these things add up over time.
And then I said you were next.
How do you keep track of all of the inventory?
Inventory is built into SKU Vault. So when an order is sold and you say that you have fulfilled that order, the software will decrement that number from your bin in ShipStation, and will also decrement it higher up in the food chain at the sales channel level. So your customer has access to their Shopify store and knows when they receive industry. So they get 1,000 widgets that come to you. You check it and you say, hey, only 999 units showed up. Take it up with your manufacturer. So then they put that into their sales channel, and then you put that into your ShipStation. When an order is shipped out, it automatically minuses it. And then they know what they have, you know what they have, and you see when your numbers jive. Yes?
Yeah, so when you started out, you used that ShipStation and you integrate all the,
When I started out, I was using Postalmate and just copy pasting orders back and forth on my terminal, and I did that for maybe 4 months myself, and then employees started doing that for another year before I finally did ShipStation, and it was the smartest thing I ever did. Or on time, speaking of time.
so you have multiple sellers, and now you're using ShipStation, okay.
So then we go through and we say, okay, brand one, we're printing all your orders. And the way the orders print is that you have a shipping label and a packing label. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. You break them up into twos, give them to your employees. Your employee goes shopping through your warehouse, picks all the things that they know that they need to do. If you have your software set up the correct way, then it'll say where that SKU is located. You don't have to be Amazon to have these huge metrics or have scanner guns surgically attached to your employees' hands. They just have to care. And you're not gonna have the breadth of customers that Amazon does, where they need to meet those margins or meet those metrics. Yes?
So, I'm sorry, I guess I got it mixed up. So do you have the ShipStation account?
I do.
And your customers also have ShipStation?
Customer has a sales channel, we have a fulfillment software. And there's different ways to do it. Some clients come to me because they're already using ShipStation because it's an awesome platform. And if I have to log into your ShipStation because you want access at the same level of reporting and inventory, then I'm charging you an extra $85 every single month for doing that, because it's gonna take like 5 minutes to log in twice a day,
Right.
and I'm gonna make more money off of that. Yes?
Can you give me an idea on things that are related to the COGS and everything that you are putting in? So you have employees, you've got storage, just give me kind of a top level, and then how that works in your particular metro area in terms of what you're paying people, just so I can get an idea.
Yeah, so here, if I'm paying an employee, the actual price, $20 after insurance and taxes, then if I'm charging them on average $3.14, but I'm charging them $2.25 and 85 cents based on their tier with me, then I know if I can throughput that order at 2 orders a minute, then I know that they can do at max maybe 30 hours of actual work a week. And if they need more than 30 hours, then I know I need to hire someone else for that client or dedicate someone else to that client. So if you know your average orders per minute, be realistic and pad what your costs are going to be, because it's always going to be more than you actually think. Then you can actually figure out your profit. And when you actually have an established client coming to you for fulfillment services, that's where you can actually get the data to analyze it. But if you don't, just get your feet wet. Just accept a customer, it might be a stud, might be a dud, they take up 1 pallet worth of space and you tell them, 1 pallet's all I got for you, but I'm gonna take this risk with you. We're offering a more flexible service than the big guys. Yes?
How do you handle the liabilities of, A, you're receiving a pallet that says it contains 1,000 units, but it only contains 980?
Yeah.
And B, the loss of internal theft?
Yeah, shrinkage. We have made all our clients whole if there was ever something, but the chance of theft within my warehouse and with my employees, you just have to hire the right people and pay them a livable wage and they'll be grateful to you. Because the risk is too high for us. We get into jewelry, yeah, it might be higher, but why do they want to risk their job for something stupid? I have cameras too, so, yes.
So, the ship station, you're saying it integrates with postal, USPS rates?
Yes.
Right, so if somebody wants something overnight or something, how do you typically handle that?
The customer will select it, the e-commerce client themselves will decide if they want to offer it, and then everything that they do, I call it upstream. Anything that happens before it hits my bucket, that's the seller's responsibility. Don't get me involved. You don't want to pay my hourly rate for getting involved in your sales chamber. They need to look up their shipping rates and decide what services they offer, and when it hits ShipStation, it'll be flagged with what kind of shipping service. And then when ShipStation prints the label, so there could be FedEx, UPS, DHL accounts also integrated and associated with that particular brand.
But I see.
So this is a
Not
very
your
simple-
account, but it's the brand's
Yes.
account if they've decided to have that. Got
Yep.
it, okay.
I do offer FedEx and my own account with certain clients who pay their invoices on time. Yes.
What kinds of things, because I know you talked about storage space, you talked about fulfillment fees and printing, having to log in to and pull it off of their account. What other kinds of things do you charge for?
Miscellaneous service fees. If they want me to, if it's going to go to Erykah Baidu, a famous pop singer last week, and they wanted their product featured on her Instagram account and they were sending it to her handler and they wanted us to tie a little bow around it and write something sexy on it, like, fine, we'll do that, $10 to get your product into the hands of a celebrity. Or if it's something else like that. Product photography, we have a little light box that costs us $100, and people want product photography because these people are never actually seeing their products, some of them. So we take the product photography, $10, and then $2 every picture. Yes?
So when someone orders it online, does it just automatically print out a shipping label and you know to get those things, or does it come in bulk, or how does that work?
About every 5 minutes, ShipStation will update depending on what the sales channel is. And then the sales channel will communicate that to my fulfillment software. And my first employee shows up to print shipping labels at 7 a.m. and then has those ready for my next set of employees to go out and start shopping. And that's at scale. You don't have to do that at scale right away. You can log in, decide 2 times a day that you're going to print labels, print those labels to offer that next day, same day delivery or same day fulfillment. And then you go and you fulfill those orders with your employees' time and labor. And I think we're out of time. If you'd like to give me your business card or hit me up on the, thanks.